What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here, live for your Week 3 NFL review, recap, and reaction. The Bottom Line, the show where I rant and rave about this past week's NFL action, breaking down the biggest storylines coming out of week number 3 in the NFL. Before we get started, guys, make sure that you do spike that like button. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are new for more NFL weekly reactions. If you are a subscriber, spike that notification bell for more BLV on the NFL. We have a lot of great topics here today, tonight, and we are moving the show officially, as long as this all goes well, to Monday Night Football, live after Monday Night Football. I'll give you my thoughts, my reaction, starting off with the Monday Night Football recap, my thoughts on that game, and then getting into the week's events so that you quickly get it on Monday night. You can watch it on Tuesday morning if you missed it on Monday night, and we can go on to the next week right after on Tuesday and forward. So, weekly reaction time, weekly review of week number 3. If you're in the comments, if you're watching this live, let me know live here in the comments, what was your favorite part of week 3? What was your favorite game? What was your favorite moment? Let me know in the comments, and let's get to it. All right, so this week's topics, we have, of course, like every week, Ultra's top 10 teams. That's what we're going to kick off with. We also have our Monday Night Football reaction. The Cowboys beat down the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football. I'll talk about that, what I saw from that game. What is wrong with the Chiefs? Brandon Staley is already an elite coach in the NFL. We're going to talk about Josh Gordon signing with the Kansas City Chiefs. We are also going to rank the AFC West teams from number 1 to number 4, because there's a lot of competition in the AFC West. A lot of people were talking about the NFC West being the best division. Well, it might actually be the AFC West that's the best division. Odell Beckham Jr. returned to football this past week. He played, the Chicago Bears played well. We're going to talk about what Odell brings to the Cleveland Browns as contenders in the AFC. Who is to blame in Chicago? Is it Matt Nagy? Is it Justin Fields? Is it somebody else? We're going to talk about that. Why coverage is better than pass rush. The Pittsburgh Steelers. We are going to say a nice little prayer for them, as we did the Vikings last week. How good are the Bengals? The Patriots are letting down Mac Jones. You're going to see an epic rant. I promise you, I'm going to give my best on that one. Are the Saints good? I don't know, to be honest with you. So let's talk about that. The Vikings are not finished. You know, I said they were finished last week. They're not finished. I'm going to talk about that. Their beatdown of the Seahawks. The Seahawks stink, by the way. Tom Brady is carrying Tampa Bay. Why Tom Brady right now is the best quarterback in the league, in my opinion, and is carrying Tampa Bay, and without him, they wouldn't be a good team. We're going to talk about that. The LA Rams are the best team in the NFL. We're going to finish with that. That is the headliner for this week. And I'll discuss why I believe the Rams right now, at this moment in time, are the best team in the NFL. So let me know in the comments what you guys think, what your favorite topic is. We've got some great people in the chat right now. FSE, the Jets fan, how you doing, bro? Are you still feeling good about Zach Wilson? Christian says, respect the Cowboys. You like that, Mitchie, baby? What's going on, Christian? Hopefully you enjoy Monday Night Football. Rob says, my favorite thing was being at the Niner game in person last night. Sorry for your loss, Rob, but glad you had fun. Darth is in the chat. Ultra's in the chat. Nice to see some people in the chat. Spike that like button, guys, if you haven't already, and let's get going to the top 10 this week. So the Ultra Top 10 is brought to you by Ultra on Instagram. If you guys aren't already following us on Instagram, we're trying to pump up the Instagram, so do follow us on Instagram at TheBottomLineView. Same name as the YouTube channel name, TheBottomLineView. Follow us there on Instagram. These are his top 10 teams. Again, guys, don't get mad at me. These are not my top 10 teams. These are Ultra's top 10 teams. All right, so let's take a look. I personally do not agree with this top 10. I'm just going to let you know right now, I do not agree with this top 10. I think it absolutely, positively stinks. That's just my personal opinion here. But, like, Ultra's going to do his thing, and we just got to deal with it. So he's got the LA Rams at number 1. Okay, that's cool. We're going to talk about that later on, why I agree with Ultra in terms of the Rams being the top team in football. We're cool. They outperformed the Bucs in a big spot in a big game, and they deserve to be the number 1 right now. We're going to talk about that in the main event. At number 2, the Buffalo Bills. He has as the top team in the AFC. You know what? I can't really disagree. I'm not sure I fully agree with that, but I can't really disagree with that. So I'm going to let that pass. I will say I think the Bucs should be at number 2. The Bills can be at number 3. I'm okay with that, but I think the Bucs still deserve to be in that top 2 because they did lose to the Rams in their lone loss so far this year. So if you're putting the Rams at number 1, I think you put the Bucs at number 2. The Bills did lose to the Steelers, by the way. So then you have at number 4 the Packers, which is a drastic change. I think this is the thing that bugs me about Ultra, bro. He's everywhere. He's all over the map with his top 10. This week, he's got this team at number 10. This week, he's got this team not even in the list. This week, he's got them at number 4. I mean, bro, settle down. Pick a spot. Just, why you overreacting all the time? That's just my opinion, but Packers at number 4, Raiders at number 5 is shocking. I mean, that might be an overreaction. I get that the Raiders are undefeated, but there is no way that they should be higher than the Chargers right now. And there's no way they should be higher than the Browns. I mean, those are teams in the AFC that I think are better. I mean, you could argue that Cowboys should be higher on this list after their absolute domination on Monday Night Football over the Philadelphia Eagles. The Titans, I think you could put in the top 10. I don't think they deserve to be that high. I'm okay with the Cardinals ranking overall, but I do strongly disagree with your AFC rankings. I also think that the Chiefs deserve to be in the top 10, bro. So for me, I'm not a huge fan of this top 10 this week, Ultra. I think you got to do better, come back, and, revise this top 10, come back with a better top 10 next week, and maybe we'll talk. But overall, didn't love this top 10. Guys, check it out on Instagram. Go get mad at Ultra on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram at TheBottomLineView. Let's roll to the next topic. All right, Monday Night Football, guys. So let's just recap this Monday Night Football game, which, by the way, guys, if you guys don't know, or if you guys don't do this, it's a shame. You should do this. The broadcast with the Mannings is just way more entertaining. Like, if you're not watching the ESPN broadcast with Peyton Manning and Eli Manning, then you're just doing yourself a disservice. Like, watching the normal broadcast is not nearly as entertaining on a Monday night as the Manning broadcast. Okay? Now, if we were talking about the NBC broadcast and it was Sunday night, I may just go with the normal broadcast, but Monday night has been so lackluster that I gotta go with Peyton and Eli. I mean, as a true football fan and as a football nut, I love to hear Peyton Manning breaking down the coverages, his checks, what he would do here, and I think Peyton is so entertaining because he gets into the game. Like, he's watching a screen pass be thrown and he's like mad. It's entertaining just to see Peyton's reactions to what he thinks should happen. Tonight, he was strongly disagreeing with Mike McCarthy. That was highly entertaining. Eli Manning with his subtle comedy, I think very, very good. Even a Wedding Crashers little nugget in there with the "Ma, where's the meatloaf?" I mean, that always gets me. But the Mannings are fantastic. I think you got to tune into that one overall. But the game was the Cowboys and the Eagles. If you guys are on Patreon, I hope you bet with me tonight because I'm very happy with where I stood on the game. I took the Cowboys on the money line. I had the Eagles with the most punts in the game. So I won on both of those, and I'm very happy about that on Monday night because we did definitely get screwed over by the Tampa Bay Bucs yesterday. Just going to be honest there. But tonight, the Cowboys came through for me, and I'm very excited about that. But I do got to say, the Dallas Cowboys are legit. I mean, I came out here the last 2 weeks, and in the preseason, I wasn't super pumped about the Cowboys. Honestly, I was going to pick the Cowboys to win the division all the way until like August. And then the whole thing with like Dak, and then the whole Hard Knocks tradition of teams not performing up to expectation, along with just like the bad vibes of the Cowboys, kind of got me off of the Cowboy bandwagon leading into the season. And I feel bad. Like, I feel like an idiot that I didn't pick the Cowboys to win the division, because so far, so good for them. Like, week 1, they took the Bucs to the limit. They played well in that game. You know, the Bucs gave the football up to the Cowboys, but the Cowboys played a good game in a hostile environment in week 1 versus the champs, and you got to give them credit for that. That is their only loss this year. Other than that, they beat the Chargers in a tightly contested game in a environment where they were on the road. First 2 games were on the road. They beat the Chargers in a tight one. Maybe you could say that, okay, the Chargers, phantom calls, all that stuff, whatever. They won the game, okay? And the Chargers just beat the Chiefs. So that's a legitimate team in LA too. So Dallas beat the Chargers, was tight with the Tampa Bay Bucs, and now just destroyed the Eagles, who in week 1 looked like a legitimate team, destroying the Atlanta Falcons, and in week 2 playing a good, competitive, tight game with the 49ers. So it's not like the Eagles are one of the worst teams in football. So to demolish a divisional opponent is always impressive, because to me, those are the teams that know you best. Those are the teams that no matter what should be in a tight game unless they're absolutely dreadful, right? And I don't think the Eagles are dreadful. I think they are a decent team. Now, they do have some significant injuries, but so do the Cowboys. And I came back here last week and I said, Dallas is the dark horse of the NFC, and that's what I believe right now. As we stand through 3 weeks, I think they're the 3rd best team in the NFC. I think they honestly are better than the teams in the NFC West besides the Rams, the Cardinals, the 49ers for sure. I think they're better than the Seahawks for sure. And I think it's really between them and the Packers, right, for that 3rd team. And I would give the edge to the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys have a more complete offense. I think the Cowboys have been very well coached so far. And I think the Cowboys defense is balling right now. They have legitimate playmakers. I mean, Trevon Diggs right now has played like one of the best corners in football. I think you have to put him in the discussion for a top 10 status, Pro Bowl level, somewhere in that territory. Dallas has playmakers up front too, even with the injuries. They've been able to overcome it. And with the Cowboys in the past, a lot of times they haven't been able to overcome those deficiencies. They haven't been able to overcome their injuries. They haven't been able to overcome, a tight loss the week before. They kind of spiral out of control. A lot of madness ensues typically with Dallas, and it goes off the rails. But Dallas this year feels like a real team. They feel like a team that every week is going to be in the game, at the very least with the best teams, and they're going to beat the bad teams. And often with Dallas in the past, it felt like they weren't necessarily a lock. Like every week you would be like, is Dallas going to show up in this game, right? Are they going to put forth their best performance? They're underperforming a lot of the times with Dallas, and a lot of that was with Jason Garrett at the helm, right? And this year it just feels like you can rely on Dallas to beat the teams they should beat, and they're going to put forth a good game plan to be in the game versus the best teams. Maybe they'll win, maybe they'll lose, but you're not going to be shocked either way. So I like the Cowboys a lot. Dak Prescott's playing, like, in my opinion, an elite quarterback. And by elite, I mean a top 5 quarterback. The guys that I see in that conversation right now are Tom Brady, Matthew Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, and that's, Dak's right alongside those guys right now. I think he's playing better than Patrick Mahomes. I think he's played better this year than Josh Allen. I think he's played better than Lamar. And I'd throw Derek Carr in there as well. Those are the best quarterbacks I've seen this year, and Dak is alongside those guys as well. Of course, they've got the weapons, but what's been impressive has been Dan Quinn's transformation of the defense. even without DeMarcus Lawrence, even without Keanu Neal tonight and a couple other guys, right? Their secondary's been more competitive. They've been more creative defensively, different formations, different blitz packages, different coverages, not just the same stale defense. Offensively, they're balanced, but they don't have to be, right? They can just go out there and sling the rock around the yard if they want, throw the ball everywhere. Obviously, they're without Michael Gallup, so that kind of hinders that game plan, but they can run it, they can pass it, and they got a great screen game. I just feel like all around, Dallas is a dangerous NFC team. And to you Cowboys fans who told me that, I apologize. I was wrong. Typically, I'm a big Cowboys guy, and I've just been burned by them so many consecutive years that I kind of got off the bandwagon. But I'm right back on the bandwagon with Dallas, and I'll be betting on them moving forward because I think Dallas is a legitimate team that I can trust moving forward. I'm looking forward to that game next week versus the Panthers. I think it's going to be very entertaining, very good. That's going to be a good test for the Cowboys to see where they're at in the NFC standings. But I really, really have to give praise to, across the board, Kellen Moore, Dan Quinn, even Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott, Trevon Diggs in the defense, and I'm excited to see where Dallas goes this year. I think they're almost a lock to win their division, so really looking forward to the Cowboys for the rest of the year. But that's basically my Monday Night Football takeaways. And in terms of the Eagles, for you Eagles fans out there, just to give you a quick nugget here, I think we saw the limitations of the Eagles tonight, and in my preview of the week, I brought up that I don't think Dallas is necessarily a great matchup, even though they're divisional foes. The fact that Jalen Hurts' ability to throw the ball is inconsistent means that the Eagles can't really attack where the Cowboys are necessarily weakest, and that is where you're really going to lose those games. Dan Quinn and that style of defense, they're going to be good versus the run, which they were again tonight. I was a little confused by the usage of Miles Sanders tonight. Thought he should have been more involved. I've been a little bit disappointed with Devontae Smith this season so far. I thought he'd have a bigger impact earlier in the year. The offensive line, obviously, with some losses, showed up huge in this game. Without those guys, this team is not the same. They lack an identity offensively. Defensively, they just aren't on that elite level. They're just another defense. And, you can't really rely on a defense to, against an elite offense, win you a game like this. They got a touchdown. I mean, that should be good enough versus a team like Dallas and an offense like Dallas. To give you a touchdown early in the game, I think was significant, but they still weren't able to pull that off. I just don't know how good the Eagles are. They might be the second best team in this division. I wouldn't be surprised by that. But I think they're clearly a tier below Dallas. I think Dallas is at the top. The Eagles, the Giants, Washington, they're all fighting for second right now. And that's really what I feel. I like Jalen Hurts as both a pretty good, interesting quarterback prospect. I'm still learning about him. And I also really like him as a dude. He seems like a good leader. But I need to see more from him. I need to see more from this team moving forward. They had a big win in week 1, but they need to show me more from here on out. I'm still learning about that team. They're one of those teams I don't really know much about, to be honest. They didn't show me much tonight. So that's my thoughts on Monday Night Football. Let me know yours in the comment section. If you're watching this after the fact, let me know in the comments below. If you're watching this live, let me know in the comments live. Guys, let's get to the topics from Sunday. Before we do, make sure that you do Gronk spike that like button. Also, shout out to my BLV GOATs on Patreon, guys. If you're not already following me on Patreon or a member of the Patreon, over on Patreon, you can get our every week podcast, BLV versus Consensus, where myself, Ultra, Durkant, and sometimes even Lenny talk about the NFL. We go real in depth on all the matchups. You can also get my bets every single week. At the $5 tier, you can get my bets every single week. Tonight we made some money, so if you're interested in the gambling side of things, do check out Patreon. So shout out to all the GOATs out there. You know who you are. Appreciate you. Connor, I'll put all of the names in the comments for you. But appreciate you guys who are the top of the top, the best of the best, and the biggest of supporters of the BLV. So I appreciate you guys a lot. All right. Let's get to topic number uno, which is the Kansas City Chiefs. Ultra says that he's going to start to rank every team from 1 to 32. That way things don't drastically change anymore. Actually, I had a request from Party in the Discord to start doing a power rankings every week. So if you're watching this right now and you'd like to see me do a power rankings every week, I have more time on my hands now, so I can do that if you guys are interested. I just didn't really think like that's something that everyone does. So I was just, I'll throw it out there for you guys. If you are interested in that, let me know in the comments if you're interested, and maybe I'll start to do that on Mondays potentially or Tuesdays potentially. Let me know in the comments if you guys are interested in a weekly power rankings video, maybe quick, maybe somewhere 10 to 30 minute range. I don't know. Maybe it could be quick. Maybe it could be a little bit more in depth, but let me know. All right. So let's get to the Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, so I made a video. You probably heard of it, okay? I made this little video called The Kansas City Chiefs Are Overrated. I actually believe it was titled, Why the Kansas City Chiefs Are Overrated. Now, I also made another video. You might have heard of it. It's, Do not bet on the Chiefs. At least that was the statement. Do not bet on the Chiefs. The Chiefs are still overrated. I doubled down on it. Not only did I make a video suggesting the Chiefs are overrated, but I also doubled down on that statement. The Chiefs are still overrated. There's no doubt about it. But I want to be a little bit more positive because I think a lot of Chiefs fans already hate me. But they already realized that I was right. So hopefully you realize that I was right. And you realize that your team was a little bit overrated. And now you can listen to me and my words of wisdom for why the Chiefs have been overrated, but also why I'm not that concerned about the Chiefs moving forward. Okay? So the Kansas City Chiefs have played in week 1 the Cleveland Browns, in week 2 the Baltimore Ravens, and in week 3 the Los Angeles Chargers. All 3 of those teams could potentially make the playoffs. Now, in my opinion, I don't think the Ravens are actually going to make the playoffs from what I've seen this season. That's just my opinion. They could have lost to the Lions on Sunday. And this is where I can actually say yesterday. Wow, I can actually say that now. But regardless, the Chiefs have been overrated because people looked at their additions on the offensive line and said that was drastically going to change this team. It was drastically going to help their offense. It was drastically going to help Clyde Edwards-Helaire run the ball. It was drastically going to protect Patrick Mahomes. It was going to allow them time of possession to win games through their offense, keeping their defense on the sidelines. So far, that has been absolutely not the case. I think we've all been focused on the defense. And oh boy, we'll get to the defense. We'll get to the defense. Don't you worry. But the offensive line has not been great, right? There was a lot of pressure on Mahomes on Sunday versus the Los Angeles Chargers. Joey Bosa, I thought, had a good game. Brandon Staley had some good little rushes to get pressure on Mahomes and force early throws or force error throws that some of them ended up being interceptions. The Chiefs have been overrated because, as I brought up, just general consensus is too high on the Chiefs. They act like this team's unbeatable. They act like this team is, the next coming in the Patriots dynasty, and they simply are not. But that's not to say they're bad. Again, guys, overrated and bad are two different things. Now, I think teams have somewhat figured out the Chiefs a little bit. The Chargers actually played their offense wisely. They were actually calculated on how they attacked Patrick Mahomes, how they defended Tyreek Hill, and I thought the Ravens did the same thing. 2 weeks in a row, even though the Chiefs still put up points, they maximize their ability to succeed. And in all 3 weeks, all of the coaches were aggressive in trying to take down the Chiefs. All of them made the necessary fourth down decisions to beat the Chiefs. All of them were aggressive when they needed to be. And all of them have figured out sort of the formula to beat the Chiefs. And that is why. Because at a certain point, teams get figured out. Schemes get figured out. Players get worse. They regress because teams figure you out. You get enough tape and you add things up like a formula and you figure it out to a certain degree where teams are not as good. And I came into the year and really it had nothing as much to do with that I felt like the NFL was just going to figure out the Chiefs. It had more to do with the fact that everybody was talking about the Chiefs as a team that was going to go win the Super Bowl. They were favored to win the Super Bowl in Vegas, all that stuff, and they might very well do that if they can fix some things here. But the problem I had is when I looked at the roster of the Chiefs, and I just looked at the depth chart, and as somebody that knows and I'm not exaggerating, like every player in the league, okay? This roster did not compare to me to the last year's roster and did not compare to me to 2 years ago. Like their roster simply is not as good. That was just my analysis on it. That's why I called them overrated, because their team is simply not as talented as it has been the last 2 to 3 years. I feel like it's declined. It's regressed. And that's what I saw. Now, Chiefs fans disagreed with me. So far, I've been correct. They lack pass rushers outside of Chris Jones. That has been the case. Their secondary is not the same secondary without the depth at cornerback that they used to have. Their safety play has not been as good. Like Daniel Sorensen has been bad this year. Their linebackers are not good. Their run defense stinks. Still does. Spagnuolo was a lot of smoke and mirrors. And I feel like what actually teams have figured out is how to effectively beat this defense. Because I felt like the Chiefs the last 2 years have been a little bit smoke and mirrors on defense. They've been totally outperforming their talent level. And this year, they didn't have the depth on the D-line that I thought they had in the past. They didn't have the depth in the secondary I thought they had in the past. They lost Damian Wilson at linebacker, who was a key contributor for them. They lost Bashaud Breeland at corner, even though he sucks in Minnesota. He was a key contributor for them. Offensively, the offensive line, people were like, this offensive line, this offensive line, this offensive line. They're not as good as the line I felt that won the Super Bowl. Personally, I mean, Mitchell Schwartz was an all-pro right tackle. They don't have Sammy Watkins, so they lack a third target in the passing game, and their run game is very, very bad. Like, they have really light boxes every game, and they still struggle to run the ball at times. So there's clear deficiencies, and when good teams play you, right, that was my whole thing. Not bad teams. Like, the Chiefs are going to beat bad teams every single time. When they play good teams, that's where those good teams are going to take advantage. Is versus a weak defense with not a lot of depth, and versus a team on offense that's all passing game with 2 options, not even a plethora of options like Tampa Bay or Dallas, and they have no running game. So that's what I saw, and that's what we've seen so far. The problems with the Chiefs are exactly what I laid out for you. It's there. It exists. Hopefully you realize that now, that they're not indestructible, that they're not unbeatable. But that's to say that they can get a little bit better. I mean, like, they just signed Josh Gordon today. We're going to get to that in a second. They need to find a third option on offense. Whether that's Josh Gordon or not, they need to figure out who that third option is. Is it Demarcus Robinson? Is it Clyde? Is it Mecole Hardman? They need to make that guy a legitimate threat. And maybe they can't make that guy the legitimate threat. Maybe they just need that player to step up. But they need a third threat. In the NFL to win the Super Bowl, not to win a Week 14 game, a Week 4 game, the Super Bowl. You need 3 options in the passing game to win the Super Bowl. Period. You need 3 options. The Chiefs have 2. They got to figure out the third one. The running game's got to be at least respectable, right? It was respectable when they won the Super Bowl. Damian Williams ate up the 49ers in the Super Bowl. It was respectable. You got to have a respectable all-around offense, right? So that a defense can't just key in on you. You can make them pay when they key in on you. If you double Kelsey, you double Hill, that third option's got to make you pay. If you sell out to stop the pass, you got to make them pay running the ball. I trust Andy Reid to eventually figure something out with that. I trust the offensive line to grow throughout the season. But right now, it doesn't look great. Defensively, I think the problem resides in talent. I just don't think they have the talent. Now, maybe they have to make a trade. They have to do something because Chris Jones is it. You got Chris Jones on the pass rush, and that's it. And he hasn't even been playing that well. So the defense is a legitimate concern. So you have to do something with the defense. Whether that's get just uber aggressive and sell out and try to make big plays, or maybe shift to a style that's more sound. You know, the last couple of years, Spagnuolo has really been an aggressive style of defense where they've sold out to create negative plays so that they can get the ball back for their offense. And that at times has been really successful. Maybe they need to fall back into more of a sound style of defense where they're not getting gashed for big plays, especially in the run game. Maybe they need to commit to defend the run a little bit more so they force teams to make plays down the field in the passing game. Maybe that's what they need to do. I don't have the X's and O's answers for you because these are legitimate concerns. But they need to figure something out on both sides of the ball. What's up with the Chiefs is just exactly what I laid out for you. Yes, they're overrated. Again, guys, they haven't covered the spread in 10 straight regular season games. For a reason. They're overrated. But hopefully this has given Chiefs fans the wake-up call that they need. And now they can move forward, and I'll lay off, and I'll back off, and I'll say, let's see if they can figure it out. Because Patrick Mahomes is great. Now, shifting the conversation towards Patrick Mahomes. I have this theory about Patrick Mahomes, and this might piss off, quite honestly, this might piss off Chiefs fans even more than I already have pissed them off this year and this offseason. And again, guys, I don't mean to do this. This isn't me sitting on my high horse being like, I'm a Patriots fan, I gotta hate on the Chiefs, because a lot of people comment that. They're like, you're just a Patriots fan who's living in the past, and he thinks that he hates the Chiefs because they're the rival to the great Patriots. Bro, I don't care. Okay? I don't care if the Chiefs are great. A great team like the Patriots were is good for football because that makes that one team's got to be beat by everybody. But now what you realize is the Chiefs are being treated with that, right? They're being treated with the biggest punch from every team every week. And that's what the Patriots took for 20 years. So now that's what you're getting. If you want to be it, step up. But my theory with Patrick Mahomes is that because he looks so cool playing the position, he makes the extraordinary play when all he has to do is make the ordinary play. This year, Patrick Mahomes has not been Patrick Mahomes. In fact, I would go to as far to say that Patrick Mahomes this year has been the most overrated quarterback in the NFL. The weird thing about Mahomes is sometimes he doesn't even play well. And you check the box score and it's still great. And what I mean by that is like, you'll watch the game. And if you watch the game, you would be like, you know what? I didn't think Mahomes played that well tonight. Like, he was fine. Like, he wasn't, like, great. But you check the stats, and it was, like, 325 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions, or whatever. But it wasn't, like, amazing. Now, a lot of this is he looks cool doing things that a lot of other quarterbacks, like let's just take Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers. Let's take Tom Brady because he's the easiest example here because Tom Brady doesn't look cool a lot of the time. Let's be honest. So Tom Brady may throw a pass 15 yards down the seam. It's a great pass on the money. Now, a lot of typical football fans won't see that ball, that throw, as fantastic, even though it might be a great throw. You know, as to someone that watches football every week, that studies whatever, you might see him put the ball in a spot that's perfect, perfectly accurate, perfect amount of touch, perfect amount of arm strength, all of it, right? It's a great throw from within the pocket. But because Tom Brady doesn't move to the right, he doesn't no look, he doesn't sidearm throw, he doesn't, make it look with style points, which is what Mahomes does, people don't see it as equivalent. So when you're watching Mahomes, it's almost like watching a highlight reel. And this is, I would equate it to Kyler Murray as well. These two players are very similar in this fashion. They may both accomplish the same play that Tom Brady or Peyton Manning may have from within the pocket for 15 yards. But Mahomes and Kyler run around, make it look cool, add style points like we're playing NFL Street to get that game breaker. But it's the same play. It's the same throw. It's the same completion to the same result, if that makes sense. And that doesn't actually help you in terms of quarterback play. It doesn't actually make great quarterback play. It just looks cooler. So this is my theory with Mahomes. He's in a great situation. So even when he doesn't play well, he plays well. Because if you check every year, who's at the top of the league in terms of yards after catch from the quarterback position? Mahomes is in the top 3. Right? A lot of the times it's Mahomes, it's the Rams quarterback, and another guy. Okay? Well, is that the quarterback or is that the scheme? Who throws to more wide open receivers than Patrick Mahomes? Now, part of it is Mahomes and part of it is the scheme. It's the perfect marriage of things, right? But sometimes Mahomes plays a bad game, but he can get away with a bad game. When a guy like, let's say, in a lesser situation, like let's say Stafford with the Lions, could make the same plays as Mahomes, but doesn't have the same scheme, doesn't have the same receivers, doesn't have the same line, doesn't have whatever, right? If that makes sense. So, and what I mean by it could be Mahomes, it could be the scheme is Mahomes, sometimes it's Mahomes making the play. What the heck? As my book just falls over. Sometimes it's Mahomes making the play where he'll avoid the rush and create an open window for his receiver to get to, and then therefore it's a wide open throw. Sometimes it's just his receiver being wide open because the impact of Tyreek Hill forces a safety deep, allows Kelsey to be wide open, whatever, right? So it's a mix of both. But I think the marriage between Mahomes' talent gives them that upper echelon high ceiling. But Andy Reid's scheme, along with the talent of Kelsey and Hill, give Mahomes such a high floor that we don't actually notice when he's not playing well. I hope that makes sense. Okay? Because if you look at something like PFF has never graded Mahomes as their top quarterback. Mahomes, it was probably Patrick Mahomes who forced my book over, by the way. PFF has never graded Patrick Mahomes as their top quarterback because they judge quarterback play independent from scheme, independent from everything else, right? Right now, Patrick Mahomes ranks I think is the 19th quarterback in the league because now those plays that were paying off for him in the past, those plays where he runs to the right, he escapes the rush, and he no looks. Now, for whatever reason, that's turning into an interception, right? Last year, you guys can look this up for yourselves, but last year, Mahomes was amongst, even though I think he didn't have many interceptions on the year. If anyone has that stat, let me know. But he didn't have a lot of interceptions on the year, but he had a lot of turnover-worthy throws last year that didn't actually turn into interceptions. So he got a little lucky. His style of play plays on the edge. So this year, the difference between the Chiefs winning and losing has been those throws that used to be no look and completed are now no look, and the receiver tips it off his hands or misses the ball and it gets intercepted. Or Mahomes is just slightly off, or Mahomes is under pressure and he's being sacked and he throws it like in the Ravens game and it's intercepted. Typically those throws last year or the year before, with his style of play, you would have thought he would have been picked off more. He was just kind of getting on the fortunate side of things. So that's kind of my whole theory and ramble and rant about Mahomes and the Chiefs. But that's kind of where I stand with things. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions on that, but that's kind of like my full rant about the whole Mahomes and how he's playing this year. Like, personally, I don't think he's playing that great this year. I definitely think he can play better, and I definitely think that he can improve this year. But I think we're seeing why, like, I don't think he's playing MVP football this year. I think his big-time throws aren't there as much. His turnover-worthy plays are up, to use those Pro Football Focus references. And he just hasn't been able to carry this team the way that he did the last couple of years because of that. All right. So to answer the Chiefs question, where do the Chiefs rank in the AFC? I think the Chiefs rank in the AFC. We're going to talk about the AFC West here, but I think the Chiefs rank in the AFC still in the top 5. I'm not going to be too crazy and say like they don't deserve to be in the top 5, whatever. So if I were to rank the AFC after 3 weeks, I think the Bills, the Browns, and the Chargers have been overall better teams than the Chiefs. But after that, I would put the Chiefs there. So I'd have them at number 4, personally, in the AFC, even though they're 1 and 2. So that's my respect for the Chiefs. So you can't go all the way and say I'm a hater, all right? But I still think they're number 4 right now. They have a ways to go to improve, but I'm not going to get totally crazy because they still got a great offense. If they can marginally improve a couple things, they're still there. They're going to make the playoffs. I think they're the 4th best team in the AFC right now. That leads us to the conversation about Josh Gordon. Flash Gordon is back. Josh Gordon returns to the NFL. And like I said, the Chiefs really desperately need to find a third option in this passing game and in this offense to win the Super Bowl, because that is their goal, is to win the Super Bowl. When I talk about teams like the Chiefs, when I talk about teams like the Bucs, when I talk about teams like the Rams, I'm talking about winning the Super Bowl. I'm not talking about winning a wild card game. I am talking about these teams as if they are trying to win the Super Bowl, guys. So this shifts the conversation. Now, Josh Gordon. I've always been a Josh Gordon fan. I've always supported Josh Gordon. Every time he's had an issue and come back to the NFL, I've wanted to see him succeed. Whether or not he can get his stuff together, that's an entirely different question. I'm not even going to get into that because I'm positive. I'm half full, not half empty. All right? And I'm going to say and hope that Gordon can at least play the rest of the season. And let's hope that Kansas City is the place where he can turn his football life around. Okay? Hopefully he can be good to go, and hopefully he can stay in the NFL until however long he can until he retires. Because hopefully this guy just can have a peaceful life, all right? But with Josh Gordon, he was with the Patriots. I saw him play for like a year and a half in New England. It was a good circumstance for him to thrive. It didn't work out, mostly due to his off the field. On the field, he showed spurts of success. Now, he also went to Seattle with Russell Wilson, where he showed spurts of success. But I don't think Josh Gordon is good anymore. And it's sad because I thought there was a moment in time where he was the best receiver in the league. Like 2013, he was the most dominant receiver in the NFL. And then I felt like during that time, like 2014, 2015, 2016, if he could have gotten his stuff together, he could have been an elite player in this league. And I felt like in 2018, when the Patriots had him and they went on to win the Super Bowl, he still was pretty good. Like, he was a number 2, number 3 receiver in this league. I don't think he's got it anymore. I watched him play in New England there in 2019. His speed, it takes longer for him to accelerate. He really doesn't create separation. So what Josh Gordon is now is he's mostly a jump ball receiver. That's mostly what he is. If you want to give him a one-on-one opportunity to go up and get it, he might come down with it. He might make a play. But as far as separating, being an upper echelon player, which I think to be an upper echelon receiver, you need to separate. You need to get open. And the best receivers consistently get open because to me, the best receivers command targets. Right? You don't have to force feed them targets. They command targets. Josh Gordon is somebody that you kind of have to throw it to him in his direction to see if he'll make a play at this moment. He's not the guy that he used to be where, boom, slant, he's open by 2 yards. You just throw it to him on the run, he's gone. That's not him anymore. He doesn't have that suddenness. He doesn't have that quickness. He doesn't have that release. He doesn't have that speed. He's kind of like a physical, use his big frame, make a play on the ball type of guy now. And that's fine. Maybe he can be a third, fourth option for the Chiefs. I don't really think this drastically changes anything for Kansas City. We'll see how it goes. I hope he's successful, but that's my personal take on Josh Gordon back in the NFL. Don't expect 2013. Don't even expect 2018. Expect a guy that can be a fourth receiver that may contribute a couple big plays every game, and I think you'd be happy with that. So good luck, Josh Gordon. Hopefully you do well with the Chiefs. Now, talking about the team that did defeat the Chiefs this Sunday, yesterday, Brandon Staley and the Los Angeles Chargers. Brandon Staley is an elite head coach in this league already. That's my opinion. Why do I say that? Brandon Staley immediately has taken a command of this team, has given this team a new identity, and gives this team a belief that they will win every game they play. Brandon Staley in this game, the Chargers felt like a different team. A lot of the times when the Chargers played the Chiefs over the past couple of years, it felt like even when they were outplaying the Chiefs, they still were going to lose the game. Example of that would be last year in week 2. And I think the biggest difference with the Chargers this year and why I was a believer of the Chargers in the offseason is not just Justin Herbert, but also Brandon Staley. I think you have an elite combination at quarterback and coach for the next decade. Because Brandon Staley was making aggressive fourth down calls. He was putting his testicles on the line, throwing them smack dab on the table and saying, we're going for this, when a lot of coaches wouldn't have done it. Not only that, he's combining smart decisions in key areas and key moments with elite scheme. He's a great defensive schemer. When you look at the Chargers roster, their defense is outperforming their actual talent on defense, right? The Chargers' defensive talent isn't great. It's not as good as it used to be. It was really, really good in like 2018, and it was the reverse. They had great players. They didn't have a great scheme. Now they have a great scheme and like average players. They've got a couple ballers out there. I mean, Joey Bosa, Derwin James, everybody knows them. But most of their defense is kind of average. What he did versus the Chiefs was phenomenal. I mean, he played it perfectly. He got creative stunts up front, creating pressure on Patrick Mahomes. He was able to effectively take away Tyreek Hill, shut down the deep passing game of Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. He was really good at defending Kelsey for the most part, forced a ton of incompletions. It felt like the Chargers were all over everything the Chiefs did. Like, everything the Chiefs did didn't appear to be easy. Like, the Ravens, they escaped with the win versus the Chiefs. Their defense did not allow much to Hill, but it was still bad defense, right? They did their best, but it wasn't great. The Chargers, meanwhile, the Chiefs made a lot of plays. Like, the Chiefs had to make a lot of plays in that game to be in the game. The Chargers forced them to make big plays. The Chiefs, a lot of times, it just appears easy. Like, what they do on offense, it's easy. But the Chargers, it was actually, versus them, it was really tough. And that means Brandon Staley, what he's doing defensively, what his scheme was, what his game plan is really effective in slowing down the Chiefs. And that's what I thought coming into the year. That's what I thought. That's why I picked the Chargers in the game. And that's what happened. I love Brandon Staley, man. He seems to have it vocally. Seems to have it as a leader. He seems to have it as a schemer. He seems to have the command and the belief in his team and his roster and his players to be a great head coach in this league. I'm very impressed thus far through the first 3 games of the Chargers with their new head coach. And the biggest difference between the Chargers last year and the Chargers this year is the coach. It's not even the quarterback, because Herbert was phenomenal last year. It is the coach. Because Anthony Lynn seems like a great guy, consistently lost the Chargers games last year. And in the past, consistently lost them games with game plans, consistently lost them games with time management, consistently lost them games in the 2-minute situation, with timeouts, with overall game management. He lost them games. Brandon Staley has won them games. If you put Anthony Lynn as the head coach of the Chargers in that game on Sunday, the Chargers lose. And I don't know if it would have been close. But the Chargers with Brandon Staley, with what he was able to scheme up defensively, and what he was able to do in those key moments, putting his testicles on the line, that was the difference between winning and losing the game. And that's the difference between being 7-9 and between winning the division or making the playoffs in the NFL. Because the Chargers, yes, they're a talented team, but there's a lot of teams with as much talent as the Chargers. Brandon Staley's the difference this year from last year with the Chargers. So that's why I think he's already an elite head coach. Odell Beckham Jr. is back. So one of my favorite players in the NFL is OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. Odell is back from his injury, and I was impressed with what I saw. I didn't see this game live, but I went back, I watched it versus the Bears. The Browns immediately became their number one option. He got a target on the very first or second play of the game. And then on the third play, he converted the first third down. He led the team in receiving and receptions in the game with 77 yards on 7 catches. He also had a rush for 10 yards. Odell is back, and I think he could be the difference for the Browns this year between going to the divisional round and going to the Super Bowl in the AFC. I feel like he was the difference between the Browns losing to the Chiefs and beating the Chiefs, because I think Beckham is a difference maker. When you have him and when he's healthy, you need to pay attention to him as a defense. On third down, if you need a play and you need a guy to get open, Odell is still that type of receiver. No matter what you say about him, no matter what you think about him, he's going to get open in that big moment. He's going to make that play, not only down the field, underneath, or intermediate. He can do it all, and he can also create after the catch. Now, he didn't appear to be, and he even said himself, he was still getting his legs under him, but he looked really good considering that. I thought he could have had 100 yards in this game. You know, a couple plays were taken away from him, rather by just bad throws from Baker or some penalties, where he was facing Jalen Johnson, you know, so far like one of the top graded corners in the league, and he was mostly beating him for most of the day. So that just tells you in his first game, he was really, really good. You know, route running, all of it, hands looked good. All of it was there for Odell, and I just think he completely opens up this offense. He gives them a legitimate downfield option for Baker off of that play action game to help the running game, to stretch a defense out. It opens up the screen game for guys like Kareem Hunt, as we saw versus the Bears, and it gives Baker a guy in those situations, like in that Chiefs game, where you need to drive the field to win the game. Who are you throwing the ball to? And that can be Odell. So Beckham's back. Happy to see that. And I think that the Browns now have a legitimate number one receiver, one that they were missing last year in the playoffs and early this season. Now, they played a little opponent called the Chicago Bears. All I see in the mainstream media is that Justin Fields needs more help. Matt Nagy, it's all his fault. Matt Nagy's game plan sucks. Matt Nagy this, Matt Nagy that. I'm sorry to inform you guys, but personally, I didn't love what I saw from Justin Fields either. And I agree with a lot of what guys like Dan Orlovsky are saying. You know, like, the offense wasn't overly creative. It wasn't anything special. I mean, I must have seen the Bears run the same play action fake like 8 times. I mean, the same thing, if you guys watch the game, the same thing from shotgun like 8 times in the game. And that's simply not good enough. Also, would you like to design some more runs for a guy that is probably already one of the best running quarterbacks in the NFL? But I don't want Justin Fields to completely get away with playing like ass, because that's quite frankly how he played. I mean, the Bears had 1 yard in the game. Let's remember, I was not super high on Fields, so I'm not trying to get on the kid. I'm not trying to like be a dick or whatever. But you also have to remember that I came out the last 2 weeks and said the Browns offense or Browns defense sucks. And quite frankly, the Browns defense through 2 weeks was absolutely dreadful. Like, dreadful. They were 11 for 12. 11 for 12. Tyrod Taylor was. Tyrod Taylor versus the Browns. Okay? And it was even worse versus the Chiefs in week 1. So the Browns defense is nothing special. Now, what the Browns do have, and a reason I like the Browns to cover the spread, was they have 2 edge rushers that are very athletic. And what Justin Fields found out was that the edge rushers in Cleveland are very fast, and in the NFL, you can't outrun these edge players that are like Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney. You can't just run around the edge and expect to beat these guys, because these guys are freaking athletes in this league. All right? You're not playing Wisconsin. Okay? So, to me, I saw all of the concerns I had with Fields entering the year and entering his career. Right? His indecisiveness. He goes first read and he runs. He's one read and he runs. Number 2. He takes too long to make the decision, and when even his release is slow. So when he throws the ball, the windows in the NFL close very fast in this league. And Fields He can learn this. Needs to go through his reads quicker, needs to release the ball quicker because pressure's going to get there. And as a quarterback, you got to learn that pressure's going to get there quick. You got to get rid of the ball. Okay? So all of the things that I saw that were faults and flaws with Justin Fields still exist and I think are greater than ever. And this is why I think he didn't start. And this is why people on Twitter got to shut up. Because, yeah, Andy Dalton sucks, bro. But, like, Justin Fields is not ready to be a starting quarterback in the league. Because he's not somebody that really can make these plays in the league right now. You saw him play a bad defense and significantly struggle in this game. Offensive line or no offensive line. People were bringing up like 5-man protections or whatever. Like they had like 60% 5-man protections and the average is like 60%. So I don't really understand where people are going with that. But like I think blame is everywhere. Blame is everywhere. But I think a little bit more blame goes to Justin Fields and to the people that continue to force down our throats that Justin Fields should be on the field because he's not ready. Like, he needs more time, and that's okay. We shouldn't be forcing these young players to play if they're not ready. And quite clearly, Justin Fields is not ready. And that's just what I see. He's not ready to bring on a full NFL playbook. He's not ready to make these throws, to make these reads versus NFL defenses. He's not ready. Give him more time. I think that's what we learn. Personally, that's what I learned. Okay? Maybe he will be great down the road, but I don't think he's the answer right now. As much as exciting as he can be, I don't think he's there yet. That's just my opinion on things. You guys let me know how you feel. Again, guys, Matt Nagy didn't do him any favors. I thought he sucked. I have never been a fan of Matt Nagy. I think he sucks in general. But he's getting too much of the hate. Like, too much of the hate. At a certain point, quarterback can't throw for 1 yard and get sacked 9 times. 9 times. 9. Not 5. Not 4. 9 times. Remember, guys, sacks is a quarterback stat, not an offensive line stat. And you could check Dan Marino's sack percentage for that. You could check Tom Brady's sack percentage for that. You could check Peyton Manning's sack percentage for that. It's a quarterback stat. It's not an offensive line sack. Okay? That's the reason Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson always get sacked, because it's a quarterback stat, not an offensive line stat. I could rant about that all day. But anyways, next. All right. This might be a bit controversial, I think. But I think this has to be talked about. Now, I do want to look at the current rankings for defenses in the NFL. So let's just look. NFL defense rankings. Where can I find that? What's going on, everybody in the chat? If you haven't already, make sure you do Gronk spike that like button. Okay, where are team stats? Why can't I find defensive rankings, bro? This is atrocious. Why is Google doing me no favors here? Okay, here. No, that's 2020. Next season. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay. In my opinion, right now in the NFL, coverage matters more than pass rush. And my biggest example of this is by taking a look at NFL defenses from year to year and which defenses are the most steady in the league. Personally, I think it's easier to predict good defense based on having a good coverage unit or having good coverage players in general. And while a cornerback position may regress more than a pass rush, I think it's easier if you have a great schemer. Like, let's say you have a guy like Brandon Staley or a guy like Bill Belichick or a guy like Don Martindale, for example. These players, or these coaches, I should say, year to year are steady coordinators because they focus their defense on coverage over pass rush. And this is why they're always more consistent. So the top defenses in the NFL this year: Vic Fangio, Broncos, right? The Panthers, the Saints, Bills, Patriots, Bengals, Chargers, Rams. These teams are all at the top of the league in terms of defense, as I can see right now. And there are some teams that are disappointing on defense right now. Some of those teams are the Washington football team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You could throw in Pittsburgh Steelers to a certain degree. And I feel like the Dolphins are another good defense. Most of the defenses that have really been good at coverage help their pass rush as well. And I think a lot of us always talk about defense and like, we need a 4-man rush, we need pass rushers, we need to get to the quarterback. If you watch a team like the Bucs, their pass rush on paper is incredible. The Washington football team pass rush on paper is incredible, but they can't cover anyone. Receivers get open at a rapid rate. They get open in a blink of an eye. So when you play good coordinators on offense, when you play good quarterbacks on offense, those players get rid of the ball so fast, it doesn't matter how good your pass rush is. You look at a team like the Bengals, Aqua's Bengals. Their pass rush isn't that good on paper, but their coverage unit is really good. They force quarterbacks to move off of their first read. They force them to move around the pocket. They force that extra split second for the pass rush to get there. There's a lot more good pass rushers in the NFL than there is good coverage players. So therefore, you can sustain more injuries up at the pass rush level than you can in the secondary. And to me personally, like, just watching the NFL this year, the best defenses I've seen have been the ones that focus, at least scheme-wise, if not also talent-wise, on being coverage first and less so pressure first or pass rush first. I watch teams like Tampa Bay, I watch defenses like Washington, and it's extremely frustrating to watch because they should be better than they are, but they're not getting to the quarterback, and therefore they are not succeeding. Dallas has gotten drastically better in the secondary. Trevon Diggs has gotten better. Hooker he's in there, right? They added DeMonte KZ. Jordan Lewis is healthy, right? These guys are all performing fairly well for them. I think the biggest difference in Dallas right now is that they actually have a good secondary now. Their pass rush isn't that much different. In fact, most of their players in their pass rush are actually hurt, but they're still playing better defense. And when I watch these teams across the league, I think coverage matters more than pass rush because it's harder for a quarterback to beat you that way. It's harder for a Tom Brady to play the Rams than it is a Washington football team because he can get rid of the ball quickly if his receivers are winning. But if his receivers aren't winning, or if his receivers are taking maybe a little bit longer, that gives it a little bit longer for these pass rushers to get there. Or if you're a little bit more multiple and creative in your back end and these players with high IQ are doing a lot of different things, I feel like just coverage allows you to mask so many things. And it doesn't really when you have all these great receivers in the league, you need to have good corners. You need to have good safeties. You need to have good scheme. And what I've seen so far this year, I think that's backed it up. Like, the defenses that I've been most disappointed in are focused on getting to the quarterback. They're not focused on covering these players. And the best defenses I've seen are focused on covering and not as much on getting to the quarterback. So, in a league that doesn't have a lot of great defense, I feel like teams should be shifting towards coverage more so than pass rush. And that's my opinion. That's just something I've kind of realized over the past 3 weeks in the NFL. Now, quickly, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you do Gronk spike that like button. Don't forget to also Gronk spike that notification bell for more NFL. And also, if you're enjoying this reaction, let me know in the comments. It helps me out if you Gronk spike that like button and subscribe to the channel for more NFL. Let's get to our next topic, which is Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh, man. Let's say a prayer, everybody. God, the Steelers have been one of the greatest franchises in NFL history. They have 6 Super Bowls. They've been to numerous Super Bowls. They've had great quarterbacks. Terry Bradshaw, Ben Roethlisberger. Great receivers. Lynn Swann, Antonio Brown. Running backs like Franco Harris and Jerome Bettis. And offensive linemen like Alan Faneca. Their defense is what they're known for. The Steel Curtain. The 70s defense, arguably the best of all time. Mean Joe Green. Even when they won the Super Bowls in the 2000s, they were fantastic. James Harrison, Troy Polamalu, James Ferrier, Casey Hampton. The list goes on. But quite frankly, God, the Pittsburgh Steelers are absolutely, positively trash. The Pittsburgh Steelers absolutely suck. And they are absolutely toasted. The Steelers are the worst team in the AFC North. The Pittsburgh Steelers feature Ben Roethlisberger, a quarterback who you could argue through 3 games is the equivalent of 2015 Peyton Manning. Ben Roethlisberger literally falling over when he throws the football. Ben Roethlisberger, a quarterback who went on a diet, but God, the diet did not save him. I don't think anyone can save him. I don't think anything can save him. Not Deontay, not Chase, not even the great Najee Harris. Nothing can save Ben Roethlisberger. Has Ben Roethlisberger. He is toasted. Lay him out. See you later. Say goodbye, because Father Time has passed you by, Big Ben. Your great defense is no more. A lack of depth has been a shot to the heart for the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. No running game because your offensive line absolutely sucks. It's dreadful. Najee Harris, I told you. You can't run without an O-line, bro. It was going to be rough. You got the TikTok stars at wide receiver, not good enough. The Steelers are the worst team in the AFC North. I tried to tell you. I tried to let you know that the Steelers' time was done. But quite frankly, it's official. I'm done. A lock, a key, throw it out the window. The Pittsburgh Steelers are no more, no longer. They suck. They stink. They're dunzo, gonzo, garbaggio. They are done. They may end up as one of the top 5 teams picking in the NFL draft. That is how bad they are. I'm just letting you know now. Okay? I'm doing you a favor here. Do not have any expectations for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They suck. Okay? I tried to let you know in the offseason. Mitch. But their defense is so good. Mitch. Ben and Mike Tomlin have never had a losing season. Well, you know what? There's a first for everything, including that. So, sorry, Steelers fans. I don't even feel good saying this. Ben has been a legend. The Steelers are a great franchise. No disrespect. Shout out Mike Beck. But bro, your team sucks, man. Your team sucks. How good are the Bengals? Are the Bengals actually a good team? Or did they just play the toasted Pittsburgh Steelers? Right? Because at this point, the Steelers are kind of just that team with a name, but they're not very good. Are the Bengals actually decent? Now, I like the Bengals. I like the Bengals a lot. Hey, hold on. There we go. That's better. Like I was saying, I like the Bengals a lot. I've always liked the Bengals a lot. The Bengals, I think, are actually entertaining. I don't know how good they are, to be honest, so I can't really answer my own question. But I will say, they've got a lot of good players on their team. That Jamar Chase guy, he's a good player. You hear me, Durkant, right now. I know you're watching this. Look at me in the eyes right now. You better apologize to Jamar Chase because you've said some nasty things about that boy, and he's pretty good at football. T. Higgins wasn't even in the lineup. He's good at football. Tyler Boyd can play. He's a grown man. Joe Mixon, Bill Belichick once called him the best running back in football, and I don't think he's far off. The offensive line has improved. Hey, give Zach Taylor a round of applause. He's doing a good job. Good work, Zach. Joe Burrow, the swaggiest white man in the NFL. Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow made a couple plays. I do think Joe Burrow, for this team to truly be good, for this team to truly be good, he needs to take that next step. I know you got that next gear in you, Joe. You got to take it to the next level. The defense, though, is really what's impressed me. Really what surprised me, okay? Because I knew the offense had talent. I knew Joe Burrow had talent. I knew Joe Mixon had talent. But the defense has taken me by surprise. Okay? Trey Hendrickson, DJ Reader, Ogunjobi, the D-line. These guys can play. The linebackers. Logan Wilson, I'm sorry that I disrespected you, bro. You're playing good. Pratt, you're playing decent. Of course, we know Jesse Bates is a good player, but the cornerbacks have come to play. Mike Hilton left the retirement home of Pittsburgh. He went to Cincinnati where the fresh kids are at. Chidobe Awuzie playing well. Trey Waynes is back. I mean, the secondary looks decent. Looks pretty good, actually. I'd say they're probably one of the better secondaries right now. So what's really impressed me is the defense. They're actually being really, well-schooled. I'm impressed by the coaching, too. Because, what I was really down on was not necessarily the talent, is more so the coaching. And I wasn't sold on it. But overall, I think the Bengals are competitive, and I think they're going to be a sneaky team. They're definitely going to be one of those teams that you can't just sleep on. So, Thursday night, they could be 3-1 now. I mean, they should. I'm disappointed they lost to the Bears. They should have beat the Bears, but regardless, 3-1 if they beat Jacksonville. We're talking Bengals. We're talking about potential wild cards. So I'm looking forward to the Bengals because I like the Bengals. I've always liked the Bengals. So hopefully they keep it rolling. They keep it going. They've got some young players that I like. Keep it up, and we'll see if you come back on this show. But continue to roll. I just traded for Joe Mixon in fantasy, so I'm looking forward to watching you. Keep it up. Patriots. You spent the most money this offseason. All I've been hearing is that you don't need Tom Brady. All I've been hearing is that the offensive line is going to dominate. All I've been hearing is about this great tight end duo. About this power running game. About this defense is going to carry us in 2021. Oh, don't worry. Bill Belichick is going to get back at it. What I saw on Sunday was disgusting. What I saw on Sunday, quite frankly, made me lose a lot of faith in my favorite team. What I saw on Sunday almost makes me tear up. The Patriots have a rookie quarterback. His name is Mac Jones. Mac Jones has played by far the best out of any of the rookie quarterbacks. The New England Patriots have been built as a team that as long as they get good protection, as long as they just get good quarterback play, they'll be a playoff team. Consensus, ESPN, PFF, Fox, you name it. As long as the Patriots get good quarterback play, they will be a playoff team. Well, you know what? The Patriots are getting good quarterback play. His name is Mac Jones. Week 1. He's getting clobbered. He's avoiding the pass rush. He's facing a top defense. He's putting the ball on the line in his debut. The defense can't get a stop at the end to give him the ball back. Can't get a stop. The great Bill Belichick defense can't get a stop versus Tua. Tua can't get a fucking stop. Okay? The Patriots, Mac, 5 wide, no running game, no good receivers, driving him down the field. Good pass, good pocket movement, great accuracy, on the money, Mac Jones, all day. They get inside the 10-yard line. Damian Harris fumbles. First game. Damian Harris fumbles. Ramondre Stevenson fumbles. The Patriots lose. Did Mac Jones lose the game? No. Everyone else did. They couldn't block. The running back couldn't hold on the fucking ball. And the defense couldn't get a stop when they needed to get a fucking stop. Week 2. They win. Mac Jones plays fine. Zach Wilson gifted us a victory. I appreciated Zach. Thank you. Because I don't know how else we're going to fucking win. So thank you. Week 3. Big game. Play the Saints. Sean Payton. My guy. Saints. We know they got a good front. We know they've got good O-line. We know we got to stop Kamara. We know they're going to throw Taysom Hill out there every once in a while. Mac Jones is the leading rusher in the fucking game. Mac Jones is a rookie quarterback. All I heard is that the Patriots are good to go. You get a quarterback that manages the game, and we're going to get to the playoffs. Well, guess what? We're 1-2, and the quarterback is not the problem. The Patriots can't run the ball. The Patriots can't block. Mac Jones was hit like 20 times. There was a play where Mac Jones avoided 2 rushers at the same time, ran to the right, on the run, threw it perfectly into the hands of his receiver, and he dropped it. Do you know who that receiver is? Somebody that Bill Belichick signed to a $1,000,000,000 contract. His name is Jonnu Smith. Can't catch. Jonnu Smith on Sunday was the worst football player in the NFL. Period. Can't fucking catch. Mac Jones, 2 interceptions. First one. The offensive line doesn't protect. His arm gets hit. And the ball goes into the defender's hands. He runs it back for 40 yards. They get inside the 10-yard line. The second one. The offensive line protects. Play action. Mac Jones throws a drag route perfectly into the hands of Jonnu Smith. He volleys it like he's playing volleyball. And it goes into the hands of Malcolm Jenkins for a touchdown. That's not Mac Jones' fault. You're supposed to be a power running team. Can't run the ball. Your defense. Mac Jones comes back. Guys, at one point, the game was a one-score game. 21-13. Why? Not because of the running game. Because we can't run the ball. Because of Mac Jones, okay? That's why. That's why they came back. Mac Jones. Anyways, so we've got to get one stop. We've got the supposed greatest defensive coach of all time here, okay? How do the Saints go down and score a touchdown? We've got to get a stop. Week 1. We can't stop Tua. T-U-A-M. I don't even know what I just said. T-U-A. Tua. We can't stop that fucking guy. Then we got week 3. We're playing Jameis Winston. A man who threw 30 interceptions. 30! 2 years ago. And Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill ran the ball for 15 yards. We know they're running the ball. Taysom Hill gets in the shotgun, runs the ball, and we let him run for 15 yards. We've got the supposed best defensive coach in the league. And in the 2 moments we actually needed the defense to stop the opposing team, and if we get the ball back, we probably score on the next drive because Mac Jones was scoring like consecutively. Bro, he scored. He was heating up. He had 2 consecutive touchdown drives, and then we can't get a stop. His running back sold in the first game. So everybody's putting together, yo, Zach Wilson sucks, Trevor Lawrence is playing like shit, and Justin Fields is terrible, and yet everyone's saying Mac Jones also sucks. Are you watching these games? Mac Jones is the only reason they actually almost won both games. The offensive line has been terrible. They're supposed to be good. The run game can't run. Again, Mac Jones ran for the most yards. Mac Jones, he runs like an 8.9 40. And the defense can't get a stop when they need to get a stop. Are you kidding me? The Patriots are doing this man dirty, man. Dirty. Nobody's making a play. You signed Hunter Henry for all this money, not making. I don't even. Is he playing? Jonnu Smith, I'd rather him not play. Sit on the bench, bro. The only guy that made a play for him versus the Saints was Kendrick Bourne. Nelson Aguilar, can somebody find him? Where's he at? Poor James White gets hurt. I mean, bro, who's he got? You got all this money and you get nothing. You don't get nobody. Your receivers suck. Get somebody. Get help. Your young quarterback needs help. He's a rookie. Why is he having to carry a team? He's a rookie. Ugh. The team's identity is to be a run-first defensive team, and they can't do it. Now, the defense, I've been exaggerating a little bit. The defense, when they need a stop, they haven't got the stop. But the defense, a lot of the times, been good. I'm not going to lie about that. They've been good for the most part, which is fine. But, like, holy crap. The O-line can't protect. and they can't run. What the fuck, man? Dude, like you, like if the team was actually as good as like it was supposed to be, and it should be, they'd be 3-0 right now. What the? Can someone please explain this? What? Well, like, I literally saw some posts on Instagram that make me puke. They make me puke. Like, it's like all the quarterbacks are playing bad. They got one win, which, by the way, was by Mac Jones. Here's the difference. Zach Wilson's the reason the Jets lost. He's been terrible. Trevor Lawrence has been an absolute freaking disaster. I mean, did you see his pick 6 versus the Cardinals? He threw it right to the other team. Justin Fields threw for 1 yard. But yet Mac Jones is in that group. Why? He led his team in rushing. He's a pocket passer. Bro, come on. Watch the games. Patriots need to pick it up. It's not even Mac. Like, I'd be totally fine if Mac Jones was the problem. I'd be like, okay, it's like, you got a young quarterback. He's a rookie. Josh McDaniels, where are you at, man? You sucked. Your play calling is like Jason Garrett level right now, bro. You gonna run another freaking toss to the left again? Your red zone calls are terrible. So this is the Patriots offense, guys. They pass the ball because they can't run it. They pass the ball from empty until they get to the 15-yard line, and then we decide to run the ball, and we have to kick a field goal because for some reason we decide to run the ball in the red zone, and then we wonder why we kick field goals instead of touchdowns when the reason we got to the red zone was because of Mac Jones. Why would you take the ball out of the guy's hands when he's the reason you got to the red zone? The fuck? Dude, what is going on? Figure it out. Bring back Dante Scarnecchia. Obviously the only good coach in the damn team. Because he leaves and the whole team falls apart. Fuck. Are the Saints good? I honestly don't think they're good. That's why I'm mad, because I don't think the Saints are very good and they just beat the Patriots, and the Patriots are my team, and I don't like it. Now, I will say, it's tough to know if the Saints are good or not because they shellacked the Packers. They came back the week after with a lot of injuries and a lot of coaches missing, and they won that game. They lost that game. They got destroyed in that game. And then they beat the Patriots after getting their coaches back and a couple players back. I don't know if the Saints are actually good, though. Like, in by good, I mean, I don't think the Saints are a playoff team. I think the Saints are, like, a competitive team. Like, I think they can win, like, 8, 9, 10 games this year. And don't get me wrong, this isn't all the Patriots' fault. The Saints played well, mostly. Their kicker sucks, but besides that, the O-line is good. The defensive line is good. I think they've got a good defensive scheme. All these things I knew. The Saints have a good roster. The Saints have a good coaching staff. I think they can be decent. But what's bugging me is Jameis Winston is not good. I'm sorry. He's not good. I mean, if you watched him play on Sunday, you'd know that. He's not good. I'm sorry. I mean, he probably should have thrown 3 interceptions in the game, but none of them were intercepted. There was one play in the red zone where he was getting sacked and he just threw it up into the air, and it somehow got completed. He did his best Eli Manning impersonation, and Callaway was David Tyree. I think the Saints are a solid team. I'm not sold that the Saints are a good team. That's where I stand right now. I think they were a bad matchup for the Patriots. And the Saints, I have no reason to dislike the Saints. I think they're fine. I just don't know. I think they got a good roster. I just don't believe in the quarterback. Jameis beat us, man. How? Anyways, the Vikings. I said a prayer for the Vikings last week, and I might have been premature. I might have said it too fast. The Vikings are not finished. The Vikings are still alive. They have been resurrected by the football gods. Alexander Madison saving the day. Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins playing with no shoe. And in case you guys didn't see it, I don't know if you saw the game. Kirk Cousins literally had to take his shoe off, and then he threw it behind him before a snap. Because he's like, I can't take this anymore. He threw the shoe off. And then he kept playing. By the way, where are all the Kirk Cousins haters? Kirk Cousins is playing phenomenal right now. Kirk Cousins is playing like a baller. Kirk Cousins is playing like an MVP right now, by the way. Why does everyone hate Kirk Cousins? He's good. Stop saying Kirk Cousins sucks. He's good. This defense has been absolutely horrific through the first two games and the first half of the third game. They were horrendous. And Kirk Cousins carrying them. You got Adam Thielen. All he does is score touchdowns. The O-line hasn't been playing bad. This guy, Ty Conklin, just came out of nowhere. I don't even know who this guy is. Came out of nowhere playing tight end. Zimmer was coaching for his life. They destroyed and dismantled the Seahawks. The Vikings could be 3-0 right now. They could be 3-0 right now. They could have beat the Bengals. The game went to overtime. Dalvin Cook fumbled. Week 2. They make a 37-yard field goal. They're a winner. Period. I don't care about the rest of the game. And last week, they convincingly beat the Seahawks. This next week, they play the Browns at home. Very tough game. But you know what? Their offense is going to score. It comes down to whether their defense can make one play. Because that's really it. Their defense sucks. But let's see what happens. Okay? The Vikings, I wrote you off too fast. You're not finished. You are still alive. And give Kirk Cousins some more respect. The Seattle Seahawks, on the other hand, are absolutely terrible. Okay? They're 1-2. They beat the Colts. Okay, cool. You beat the Colts. The Colts. They've got Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz with 2 ankles might as well be like, dude, what is this guy? Like, honestly, side rant. Carson Wentz is like, I don't even know if he's the 45th best quarterback in the NFL. He is so bad. And their offensive line can't block. They got no receivers. Their defense is dead average. The Colts are bad. Anyways, so the Hawks beat that terrible team in week 1. Oh, yippee-ki-yay. Congratulations. Anyways, week 2, they play the Titans. They're up by like, I don't know, 17, 14, and you let the Titans, this team is not good, okay? The Titans come back on you in your building in Seattle. This is how I know the Seahawks are not good, and in fact stink. Because Seattle, when they're good, when it's halftime and they're winning, the game is over. Like, might as well stop watching the game. Like, it's over. Stop watching. Even if they're losing, they still have a chance to win when the Seahawks are good. Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll throughout the years. In Seattle, good game. Bye. See you later. Nope. The Titans beat you. A team with no defense beat you. Week 3. You're winning the game versus the Vikings. And what happened? You just disappear. Bye. Second half, don't even show up. Pete Carroll still playing the same damn defense. He's playing cover 3 all game. Like nobody's ever beat that before. You wonder if Pete Carroll looks at who's been fired every year at head coach over the past 5 years. Just ask Ultra. Dan Quinn was fired because he played the same defense. Now in Dallas, he's playing a different defense because he realized it doesn't fucking work. So Pete Carroll is still playing the same defense that won him a Super Bowl in 2013. It doesn't work. Your defense stinks. It blows. The offense in Seattle is so hard to watch. It is so hard to watch. All it is runs and bombs 30 yards down the field. I have never seen the Seahawks run an easy 5-yard completion. I mean, holy. Can you help Russell Wilson a little bit? Can you help Russell Wilson? Just give the guy a free completion. Can you just help him a little bit? Why does he have to try to make the best throw of the week every third down? Why? The offense still sucks. The scheme's terrible. You couldn't even score 20 on the Vikings defense? Oh. The Hawks are garbage. So bad. They got no pass rush. They can't stop the run to save their damn lives. Oh my goodness. It is bad. They stink. Oh no. Oh no. Oh God. We gotta get into this next one. Oh my goodness. All right. I am now officially renaming Tampa Bay Tompa Bay. The Buccaneers are no more. They are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay? I don't want to hear anyone from this point forward in my chat call them Tampa Bay. If you call them Tampa Bay, I will officially boot you out of the chat. Because this is Tompa Bay. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers blow. They suck. But they have the best player in the NFL, Tom Brady. Still, he's 4,000 years old. Tom Brady is still the best player in the NFL. Tom Brady is the best player in the league. He leads the league, I think, in passing touchdowns. I could be wrong about that, but he had over 400 yards in the game versus the Rams. He had the most rushing yards in the game. Tom Brady, who runs a 9-10-40, had the most rushing yards versus the LA Rams. Guys, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense is on pace to give up, get this, The Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense is on pace to allow 6,431 passing yards. 6,000. I want to repeat this. Understand what I'm telling you right now. 6,431 passing yards. That is how many passing yards they have allowed and will allow. This is Tompa Bay. They got nothing else. Their running game is horrific. Leonard Fournette is the dumbest running back in the NFL. He can't see a damn hole to save his life. Rojo can't do anything right. The guy drops the ball. He fumbles the ball. He can't run a route. He can't pass block. They can't run. I think, okay, their running game is like probably not even in the top 32. It might be like 45th in the NFL this year. I honestly think the Bucs probably rank like 62nd running the ball in the NFL. Their defense is there a worse defense right now than the Bucs? They can't stop any passing game in the NFL. Matt Ryan looked good. I mean, guys, Matt Ryan looked good versus the Bucs. Are you kidding me? Matt Ryan is awful. He is toast. Like, Matt Ryan is like 2019 Phillip Rivers. Guys, I'm trying to tell you right now. Let me check this out. It's so bad, man. It's so bad. It is so bad in Tampa Bay. I'm trying to find these stats. I'm just going to do it right now. Look at this. Tampa Bay Buccaneer. You can't tell me anything. I'm done. If someone talks about Brady being helped at all, carried, whatever you want to say, dude, he's the only reason they're winning any games right now. They are so bad this year. They're like 29th in penalties. They have the dumbest team in the freaking league. They can't get aligned. Their secondary's on IR. It's bad. Look at this. Look at these stats. Guys. Their defense, is this counting 3 games? Is 31st in passing yards allowed. 30th in passing touchdowns allowed. 25th in first downs allowed. 31st in rushing yards. 26th in rushing yards attempt. I mean, it's horrific. It's horrific. This team blows. If you take Tom Brady off this team probably wins like 4 games. Who else you got? I mean, the offense is good. Don't get me wrong. Like, the passing game is good. I don't even want to say the offense. They rank first in points right now. They've got no running game. It's Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. AB got the damn COVID. You can't even count him. Gronk's there. Their running backs can't catch. The coaching sucks. Like, I can't watch Bruce Arians anymore. I'm done with this guy. What does he actually do? What does Bruce Arians do, dude? Can't you just coach players not to take freaking penalties every week? You take so many I've never seen a team. They're so frustrating. I can't watch this team. Byron Leftwich. Bro, Byron, like seriously, like do I have to talk to you again this year? Byron Leftwich. Stop running the ball on first down. You can't run the ball. Stop. Stop running the ball on first down in the first 3 drives. Do you know why the Bucs didn't score in the first quarter? Because they kept running the ball. They get down by 2 touchdowns. Then they decide, hey, maybe we should throw the ball on first down. Oh, what happened? What happened? Oh, you scored. Oh, really? Oh my God. Bro, every single time I watch this damn game, this team is, Tom Brady is let down every single time. Every single time, this damn team this year, the receivers dropping the ball, running backs suck. The only thing I like is the O-line, okay? That's it. Godwin was dropping passes in week 1. I'm done with him. The freaking Mike Evans, I like you too. Gronk, you dropped 2 passes in the damn game yesterday. Carlton Davis, you're the only person that can cover. The only person. Nobody else. Everybody else sucks. Shaq Barrett can't get to the quarterback. JPP's on IR. Vita Vea's good. I like you too. Who else? Mike Edwards falls on his face. Deshaun Jackson's running a streak down the field. Mike Edwards falls on his face plants. Easy touchdown. Who the heck is Delaney? Why haven't you signed Richard Sherman yet? Why did you pick... Guys, what? Tom Brady's talking about playing until he's 50 years old. And they picked a quarterback in the second round. Why didn't they pick a corner? Why didn't they pick a cornerback? What? Why are you picking Kyle Trask in the second round? I was pissed about that then. I'm pissed about it even more now because Jamel Dean got hurt. Sean Murphy-Bunting got hurt. It's all Tom Brady carries this damn team. If this team is the first, if this team is the best team in the NFC, Tom Brady's gotta win the MVP. They can't do anything. They suck. They run the ball on first down, get 1 yard, then okay, it's 3rd and 9, and Brady has to throw a completion. Why is this team so stupid? Their coaching is horrific. The run game's non-existent. The defense sucks. What else they got? You gotta fix all of it. All of it. All of it. Other than Tom Brady and the receivers, all of it sucks. It's so undisciplined. It's so inefficient. It's so frustrating. Todd Bowles. Look at you. Bro, what are you doing? Can you get 1 stop? Shaq Barrett, can you get 1 sack? Come on, man. Where are you at? Sue, where are you at? Devin White, where are you at? Dude, the whole team right now is Tom Brady. It's ridiculous. And then I look on Twitter, and it's like, oh, Tom Brady went to a super team. The team sucked before Tom Brady got there. Like, what are we talking about right now? The team blew. They were terrible. They didn't make... The last time they made the playoffs was 2007. They suck. And now you look at the Patriots. They suck. The only reason they were good is because of Tom Brady. What the frick are we talking about? What the heck? Why are people so stupid? It's Tompa Bay. That's it. They got nothing. He's probably going to win the Super Bowl again. I don't know how, but he probably will. And then people will say after he gets 8 Super Bowls that he's not the GOAT because Aaron Rodgers throws the ball cooler. Okay. That's cool. Whatever. Dude. Whatever. It's whatever. Okay. So, this leads me to call the Los Angeles Rams. Right now, again, guys, as of September 27th, 2021, the Los Angeles Rams, not the Bucs, not the Chiefs, not the Bills, not the Browns, the Rams, Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay, Cooper Kupp, the best team. No, I spelled that wrong. Team. Yes, I can spell. Rams. Just to prove it wasn't a fluke. The Rams are the best. Why? Because they're the best team. Not offense. Not defense. Not coaching staff. Not quarterback. Team. The Rams are the best. Okay? Why? Their offense is really good. Really good. Okay? They can run the ball on pretty much anybody. They actually ran the ball okay versus the Bucs. It wasn't amazing, but it was okay. They've got a deep passing attack. Deshaun Jackson arrived versus the Bucs. Cooper Kupp's arguably the best receiver in the league right now. I mean, he's going off. They've got Robert Woods and Van Jefferson. Tyler Higbee's really good. They've got weapons everywhere. The O-line is playing phenomenal. I mean, the most underrated part of the Rams right now is how good the O-line has been. Like, it's been unbelievable. Andrew Whitworth is like 7,000 years old, and he's still absolutely amazing. What the heck? Stafford is great. Bro, where are all the Stafford haters that told me he sucked? Where are all the Stafford guys that told me he's overrated? Where are all the Stafford guys that said, Mitch, you overrate Stafford. He's not good. He has never won a playoff game. He didn't win the NFC North. He was on the Lions. How many times do I gotta say the Lions? Bro, Barry Sanders was on the Lions. You think he wasn't good? You think he was overrated? You think Calvin Johnson was overrated? He was on the Lions. Now he's actually got a team. He's got a defense. He's got receivers. He's got a coach. And oh my goodness, Matthew Stafford looks like an MVP. Oh, wow. Oh my God, what a concept, ladies and gentlemen. Stafford is actually really good on a good team. Wow. It's amazing. Anyways, yes, Stafford has been basically flawless. I mean, he threw one interception versus the Colts. Other than that, he's been flawless. He was flawless versus the Bucs. He started off a little slow, but then he got going, and man, it was really, really good. And the offense, the scheme, all of it, McVay is evolving as a play caller. You can tell. McVay, I'm going to say it right now, guys. Sean McVay is the best coach in the NFL. That's my opinion. I'm done. Belichick, bro, your time is done. I'm done with you, bro. You're done. McVay's the best coach in the league. I'm saying it right now. Sean McVay is the best coach in the NFL because he's got the scheme. He's got the leadership. He's a cool guy. He's got the consistency. He's got the accolades. Now he actually has a good quarterback, right? He's done this without good quarterback play. He's had okay quarterback play with Jared Goff. He has actual good to great quarterback play now, and the Rams are the best team in the league at this moment after week 3. Sean McVay is the best coach in the league. Period. He's also got, Sean McVay's got it all. What does he not have? Good-looking guy. Hot girlfriend. He's got everything, bro. It's McVay. He's the best. He's got it all. What else? Defense. I don't think the defense is that amazing, but it's not bad, right? You watch the Rams defense, they look a lot more competent than the Bucs freaking defense. Are you kidding me? The Bucs are letting people wide open left and freaking right. The Rams actually have a cohesive unit, like a creative defensive scheme. I think they're sneaky in terms of the way that they try to attempt to get pressure. Aaron Donald's a beast. Jalen Ramsey's a stud, but they've got solid players everywhere. They don't really have any holes. They don't allow big plays down the field. They stop the run well when they need to. They never get blown up by like one player. One player never just dominates the Rams defense. They're not the best defense in football, in my opinion, independent of their team, but they're a good defense and they support and play complementary football well. They also have a good kicking game, good returning, good special teams. Right now, they're the best team. And then I want to give credit to the Rams fans, man. The Rams fans were much more impressive in terms of how loud it was in LA than I thought they would be. So credit to you, Rams fans. Because you guys were a lot louder in LA for that game. And I felt like the Rams, they wanted it more. You could sense that that was a bigger game for them than it was Tampa Bay. And that very well could have been the difference, along with some injuries and things of that nature. But if the Rams are to represent the NFC and win the Super Bowl, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't have been surprised before the year. I'm not going to be surprised now, especially with the way that Tampa Bay is all Tompa Bay. So Rams, congrats on the win. You're the best team right now. We'll see if you can continue that forward. You got a big game versus the Cardinals this week. I think that's a big game for you. So that is the show, guys. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, Gronk spike that like button. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, I'll open up to questions for the next few minutes. I know it's been a long show. I ranted a lot. I raved a lot. I went nuts. So hopefully you guys liked it. Let me know. Any questions? Yes. Sean McVay was an assistant in Tampa Bay, I think, for, was it John Gruden? Ultra with a super chat. Thank you, Ultra. He says, Mitch, you were right on Stafford. He's an elite quarterback. Good job. You got this one right, bro. I will not disrespect Stafford from here on out. Okay, thank you, Ultra. Appreciate it. It's nice that you admit it, though. Ultra, he's a young man, but I think he's a real man because at least he understands when he's wrong, right? That's all we can do. That's what I do. That's what I try to do at least. And it's good to see Ultra doing that. New record. Wow. Thank you, Ramifications. Rob says, Kittle spike it. Lenny says, are the Saints better than the Raiders? Bro, I like the Raiders. I didn't actually rank the AFC West. I think I forgot to do that. But I've got the Chargers at number 1 right now. I'd put the Chiefs at number 2, the Raiders 3, the Broncos 4. I think all of them have an opportunity to make the playoffs, by the way. But I think the Raiders are better than the Saints. I think the Raiders have a better offense, more consistent offense, better quarterback. Therefore, I would give it to the Raiders. So that's my opinion on that. I also think they're better than the Broncos. Dylan says, who would have you liked the Patriots to sign in free agency if he needs more help? Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks. Give me Brandon Cooks. Rank your top 5 candidates in the NFL. I'll be posting that on Instagram tomorrow, but if you guys want a quick sneak peek, I might just have to name them before I rank them, but Stafford, Carr, Brady. Who else? I guess Kyler. You know what? 5, I'm going to go Derrick Henry, number 5. Is John Gruden coach of the year? Oh, I thought you said coach for the long term. I thought you said coach of the year. You said coach for long term. That's a good question. It depends what you mean by long term. But I'm going to say he'll be the coach for at least the next 5 years. Hopefully Derek Carr is there too. Rob says the Chiefs are a bubble team. Opinion of Green Bay versus San Fran. I think that was a big win for Green Bay because they beat a team that in the past they've traditionally struggled with. I also think it showed the deficiencies of San Fran versus a good quarterback. Jimmy is not great, but I thought he had a great last drive. But the secondary is a big concern for me for San Francisco. I don't think San Francisco is a great team. I think they're a borderline playoff team right now. I think Green Bay is going to win that division, in my opinion. Tom says, I think Tampa is still a good team with holes that have just been exploited. Every team has that phase, so I'm not counting them out. Don't get me wrong, bro. As I said, Tom Brady's probably going to win the Super Bowl, and I won't even be surprised, but it's going to be pretty miraculous when he does. But then, at the same time, people are going to say somehow that his defense carried him to the Super Bowl. So just be prepared for when it happens, that when the Bucs win, Tom Brady will get absolutely zero credit from Twitter, and the defense will get all the credit. How do you think the Vikings fix their issues in the secondary? Get better players. No, that's tough, man. I haven't watched them closely enough to tell you, but part of it is the players. Secondly, I think Zimmer needs to mix up his scheme. I think every offense that plays Zimmer knows exactly the coverages that he's going to play every week, and I think that's a problem. Realistic chance the Chiefs miss the playoffs. I'll give it 15% chance they miss the playoffs. Rodgers could be in the mix, yeah. Are the Jags the worst professional sports organization? The Browns are a good organization now, bro. Jags, yes. One of them, yeah. Football-wise, yes. Thoughts on the CJ Henderson, Dan Arnold trade? Big win for the Panthers, in my opinion. Liked CJ Henderson coming out. He'll go to a good defensive scheme with stability. He's very talented. I think the Panthers know what they're doing there. I think that's a great trade for Jacksonville. Dan Arnold's a solid player, but I think that's a good trade. for Carolina. Will you ever do a response to Barry? What's his last name? McKinnon? Bro, I don't know your name. Regardless, Barry, why Tom Brady is the most overrated athlete of all time. I have, in fact, seen the video. I am planning on, in some point within the next 76 years, on making a Brady 2.0, Brady Haters 2.0, and that video will respond to that video quite well. So, wait for that. Dylan says, ranking of the NFC West teams. Rams, Cardinals, 49ers, Seahawks. Lenny says, is Kyle Shanahan a real coach? Yes. Trade him to Tampa Bay. Thank you. Actually, sorry. I said the name wrong. Tompa Bay. Lenny says, can the Jags still make the playoffs? Fuck no. Ninja says, the defense on Tampa is playing... Bro, it's not Tampa, it's Tampa. The defense on Tampa is not playing good right now. I 100% agree with you on that. Sherman would be good. Yes, I hope that they sign Sherman. I like Sherman, always have. Hopefully, Tampa signs him. They need help. The Falcons won. Yes. I know the Browns are good now. I'm just saying the Jags are their worst run organizations now that the Browns had to go through when they were bad. Yes, Jags are the worst, bro. Lions are the only one close. What would you say about the Jags-Cardinals game? I would say we had more positives this week than any other. It's getting a little bit better. They're getting a little bit more competitive. We'll see how they look on Thursday night. Still a long way to go, though. GSP says, man, I'm not sure I have the attention span to wait 76 years. We'll see. What are my thoughts on the improved Cowboys defense? Legit or just pretenders? I talked about this early in the video, bro, so you might want to go back. I talked quite in depth about the Cowboys, but yeah, I think they're a legitimate team. I think they're a legitimate NFC team, contender, and I think their defense it's not great, but it's much, much better than it was last year, and I think it's actually fairly solid. I like both the scheme, and I think a lot of the players are underrated. Lenny says, okay, real question time. What do you think of the Titans' dramatic win against the Colts? I think the Titans are easily the most overrated team in the Discord, and it's not even freaking close. I think the Titans are a borderline playoff team. If the Titans played in any other division, they would be like 8-9, 9-8, maybe 10-7 if they're lucky. I don't think the Titans are good. Like, they're one of those teams that will have a good record at the end of the year that is actually a fraud. I think the Titans are a fraud. You can quote me on this. You could clip this, whatever you want to do. I don't think the Titans are good. I'm just going to be freaking honest with you right now. I'm going to go with Africa on that one. The defense sucks. They've played nobody good, and they've beat all the or they lost to the damn Cardinals by 100. Their scheme is very vanilla. Julio is over the hill, always hurt. AJ Brown sucks, and they've got no third option. Derrick Henry's the whole team. And anything else, they've got no pass rush. Like, I don't know why people think the Titans are good. Like, what is so good about them? I don't get it. What's so good about them? Tell me. I don't see it. They beat the Colts. Carson Wentz had no ankles. 0. Not 1. 0 ankles. They suck, the Colts. Can Ocho Cinco save the Saints' horrible kicker situation? I think so. He's in the past, he's kicked some pretty good field goals. I think he's good from 35 and in. So, are the Lions actually good? They're not good. They suck, but they're competitive. So, I think that's a win for Detroit. Tommy Tremble's about to take the league by storm. Says Freak Stompy Niner. How do I even say that? Freak Stomp 49er. Harold Landry is okay. Okay. Do you think we, the Jags, re-sign DJ Chark? I would say no. I know my book's on the ground. It's right here. Guess what it's titled? Tom Brady versus the NFL. Because Tom Brady's got no freaking team right now. So it's Tom Brady, and that's it. That's why it's called that. Look at this. The Shrunken, I don't even want to say your last name. Does Tom Brady still kiss his dad on the lips? I think so. Tom says, I actually feel bad for the Lions. They had that game. Yeah, I do. I do kind of too. But I also bet with a Detroit Lions creator that they would suck. So I kind of got to hope they lose, to be honest. So, you know. Do you think your Patriots will get it together? I hope so. If I'm being real with you, I have my doubts. I think the Cowboys game is absolutely huge for them. Absolutely huge. I fully expect them to lose to the Bucs and then beat the Texans. I think they'll beat the Jets. So that Cowboys game is huge. If they can beat the Cowboys, they go 4-3. If they lose the Cowboys, they're 3-4. So I think that's real big. It's in New England. We'll see how that goes. It's going to be tough. I think they'll get better as the year goes on, but we'll see. They got to improve a lot in a lot of areas. So the terrible towel has taken on a completely new meaning. Yep. Is Justin Tucker the best Justin in the NFL? Yes. Juan says Pats are going to win 6 games all year. That's not good. I hope they win more. Turn that 6 upside down. Anything else? Bucs by blowout or close game? Bucs win 30-20. Lenny says, is Jimmy G really the guy? No. Serviceable. Not the guy. Is Trey Lance? We will see. When will Trey Lance start? Good question. I don't know. Next year. That's my answer. I talked about Josh Gordon earlier. You have to go back and watch it. What's up with Zach? His team sucks. Blows. He's also, he needs experience. I think he'll be good down the road. I think his offense also sucks. Like, his scheme really sucks. I think that's part of the problem with Lawrence as well. But more so with Wilson in terms of, like, talent around him and scheme. He's trying to make too many plays. He's trying to force it too much. All right, guys. That is it. It's Mitch. Hope you enjoyed this review of Week 3. We will see you Tomorrow, some of the clips from this show will be out. Let me know if you want me to do power rankings every week in the comments. And Wednesday, of course, we have our picks. Thursday, we have our best bets. If you guys aren't already, check out Patreon. Link is in the description. Become a patron of the BLV. Support me. Support the BLV so that I can continue to do this as a career. All right? Because I need your support if I'm going to continue to do this. Thank you guys for watching. Deuces.